Hi, this is Mark Wahlstrom, and welcome to Speaking of Settlements, a weekly broadcast seen only here on the Legal Broadcast Network. Well, this week I'm going to discuss a few things related to structured settlements. There's a lot going on in our industry and our profession. We've got the annual meetings coming up for the SSP and for NASTA. But what I'd really like to do as sort of a prelude to a speech that I'm going to be giving in April is begin to discuss what is wrong with structured settlements. A few years back there was a very popular book on the New York Times by the author Thomas Frank entitled What's the Matter with Kansas? Well, I'm going to be discussing what's the matter with structured settlements, because there is something fundamentally wrong with our industry and profession right now, and the numbers prove it. Just a few weeks ago, Pat Hindert on his S2KM blog, which is another very well-written and long-standing publication and blog here in the structured settlement profession, Pat published some really interesting information and some numbers that had been collected as far as what annuity premium is and what business has been written. And I was really kind of shocked looking at it. I shouldn't say shocked, but surprised at how much our business has declined over a period of time and some of the real quantifiable, measurable numbers. And this was, he was referencing a report by Melissa Evola, who was the president of Structured Financial Associates. And in this report, they took a look at the 2011 production for structured settlements, which came in less than $5 billion. According to the report, right around $4 billion, I should say, 974,000. This compares with 2008, which $6,226,000. Now, as we know, 2008 was a tumultuous year, a year in which the financial markets melted down, and it represents an almost 20% decline from that period of time. And even just this last year, we declined 10% from the prior year. So we're looking at very steady, consistent declines in our premium year after year. And many people kind of attribute this to interest rates. They say, well, interest rates are low. You know, it's a difficult time. We can't sell in a low interest rate environment. And yeah, that's true. But we have to remember something. Everybody else is in a low interest rate environment. You know, we don't operate in a world of isolation or in a financial vacuum. Everybody's dealing with the same situation. And in fact, when you look at the numbers, the average 30-year Treasury bond or Treasury bond rate in 2011 was 3.92%. And in 2008, 4 years earlier, a very robust and profitable year, it was 4.28. Now that's only a 0.3% difference in yield. But so rates have not changed appreciably, but business has declined dramatically. The other thing that caught me in the report that I thought was very interesting is that when you look in 2002, we had over 22 life markets that were actively writing structured settlements. In 2011, we had 12, and now with the withdrawal of the Hartford Financial Group, we're down to 11 again. So essentially, we're dealing with half the life markets in this business, in this market, as opposed to where we were just 10 years ago. That's a dramatic reduction, 50% reduction in markets, 20% reductions in premium. What do we account this to? Interest rates? Well, I also looked at another very interesting study that just came out, Beacon Research in Evanston, Illinois, which tracks annuity sales you know, across all markets. While we were suffering a 20% decline and a 10% decline from 2010 to 2011, income annuities across the board in the United States enjoyed one of their best years ever. And in fact, it was up 6.9% according to this report, almost a 7% change in the same year that we saw a 10% decline. Now, what accounts for this kind of disparity? Again, these are hard numbers, these are actual numbers. And we kind of go back to that premise. You know, what's the matter with Kansas? What's the matter with structured settlements? There's something else at work here beyond just interest rates, beyond just stability. And I've got a few ideas, and we're going to be exploring these ideas and discussing them over the next couple of weeks, and I'll be detailing them in my talk to the Society of Settlement Planners at the end of April. But I think one of the key issues that we have that has caused this problem is, well, obviously we have fewer agents. If you look at the number of people who are selling income annuities in general, you've got financial planners, stockbrokers, even mutual fund houses, independent agents, people. You've got more salespeople. So, obviously that makes a difference in the relative sale and the number of people selling it. Our business has contracted. The number of agents in our business, I believe, has contracted quite appreciably. The number of life companies and people engaged in our business is down 50% in the last 10 years at the life company level. That has an impact. That has a powerful impact in the number of people who are out there promulgating the message, promoting sales, and advocating sales. So that has one part of it. But I think my general premise here is that we've lost a battle. And just as Thomas Frank's book looked at how the conservatives or the conservative coalition had, over a period of time, transformed Kansas from a populist left wing, I should say, hotbed in the early part of the 20th century to an extremely conservative, extremely Republican state that it is now, and it was at the time of his book. We've lost the branding war, and I've mentioned this a year ago, and I've brought it up 2 years before that at a nasty meeting. I've been pounding this drum for the better part of 3 years, and this is nothing other people aren't aware of. But I think we're finally beginning to see the fact that we have lost control of our brand. The fact is that structured settlements and the structured settlement name and the structured settlement brand, we have lost the battle to the factoring companies. Their TV advertising, their radio advertising, their print, and increasingly their online and new media advertising. Structured settlements, by the vast majority of Americans, are considered to be something that you're sold and to be gotten rid of, not something to purchase and to be gotten into. We can all debate the ills and negatives of factoring, but the fact of the matter is that they have, in my opinion, taken over and control this brand. When people think of structured settlements now, the average American, the average politician, the average lawyer, they think of getting out of a deal, not getting into it. And then you couple it with things like the Executive Life of New York liquidation that's going on, and many of these things is that we have fewer people promoting our product, we have fewer life companies invested in seeing our product succeed and grow. We have a massive advertising campaign that has rebranded our product as something that you don't want and that you need to get out of, and it essentially is taking your money away from you. And we've applied none of the resources that we have at our disposal in new media and broadcasting and communication with our clients to change this brand. So one of the things we're going to go over, and we're going to have a variety of guests over the next month, we're going to take a look at some of the things that I feel have negatively impacted our sales and are negatively impacting our profession. Among them, we're going to take a close look at the Executive Life of New York liquidation proceedings and what that is really, what's really gone on there. I think it's been poorly reported. Again, there's some people who have done a tremendous job reporting and digging up information. The general press is not. Taking a look at some of these, comparing annuity numbers. Why are annuity sales in general robust and growing outside of the structured settlement area, and why is the structured settlement area contracting at a time when annuity sales in general, fixed annuity and income annuity sales, are growing and in fact having record years? Why are we looking at a further contraction in life markets? Why are we having a hard time attracting people to this business? Why can't we get more professionals into this business? And I would, and again, we'll go into a lot of this, but this is what happens when a cartel begins to crumble. And we've had a very tightly controlled business. We've controlled entry into our business. We've controlled access to our product. And as our profession has aged and we've done a poor job responding to the factoring companies' PR onslaught and advertising onslaught, we're beginning to bear the bitter fruit of years of neglect. It's not too late to tend our fields. It's not too late to correct things, but it's going to take some honesty. It's going to take some work on behalf of our profession to get this done. So I encourage you to tune in over the next few weeks as we begin to look at some of these issues, begin to have some guests in to talk about it, and see what we can do to, if not reverse, at least slow the slide that we're all facing right now before this profession that we love is further marginalized. I hate to bring bad news sometimes, but sometimes we have to look in the mirror and face the truth about what's going on. And the numbers don't lie, folks. We've got some issues, and we're gonna address them and talk about them and see what we can do to continue to bolster a product that we all know is vitally important to the safety, the security, and the financial freedom of so many injured people all over this country. My name is Mark Wahlstrom. Thanks for joining me this week. I look forward to having you join me again next week here on the Legal Broadcast Network.